Hi everybody, I'm Dan Millen with Livernois Motorsports. So today we're here doing the engine builder.
Okay, you're good. You're good now. Good, you're good.
Not sure if you heard that. I guess we had some connection issues, but we wanted to show you guys what Livernois Motorsports is all about. So follow me. We're going to start off in our showroom and walk through the shop. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
See it, it's just like
We're good.
Okay.
We're good, guys.
All right, so we're in the showroom at Livernois Motorsports. Hopefully we get through all the connection issues here. Anyway, this is our showroom. This is Chris Recook. He's our sales manager.
Hey everyone, Chris, sales manager here at Livernois Motorsports. Glad you all get to join us today and see what goes on behind the scenes, so hope you guys enjoy it.
All right, we've got Dave right here. Dave's a relatively new guy.
Hello.
We've got Joe Wheeler. Say hi, Joe.
Hi guys.
Got a couple guys over here. One is Dave Amaduri in the back.
Hey folks, how you doing?
Dave's been here for a while. It's another new guy here. He's actually a friend of ours. We've known this guy for several years. He's going to help out Dave. Dave's actually retiring. I think this is his last week here, so we can say farewell to Dave. He's done a great job over the years, so thanks. Another guy here is Hunter. Hunter does sales at Livernois Motorsports.
Good afternoon, Engine Builder Mag.
And then we've got another guy, big asset to the company. This gentleman does tuner tech support for pretty much anything tuner related. So I know this is Engine Builder Magazine, but Livernois Motorsport, we do make our own tuner. We'll go over that a little bit later. We're going to stick to the engine stuff for the first part of this. So this is the shop, vehicle installation shop. We're going to come back to this one as well. We wanted to start over in the engine department, so let's keep walking. This is Joe. Joe does a lot of tuner development stuff. Say hi, you're live on Instagram.
Hi.
He had no idea we were doing this, so. So this is our engine build room. We can do several engines at once. We've got a few guys in here. They're dispersed throughout the shop. We're going to talk to Fonzie. Fonzie's been here for a little while. We appreciate Fonzie. He does a great job. I myself can build engines, but you don't want me building your engine. I'm not the specialist. These guys are. They do a lot better job than I do.
So what's up, Fonzie? Tell us what you're working on.
This is actually a 5.3 Iron LS that I'm getting ready to do the rings on. A walk-in customer, so we do all kinds of work. So, got the machine, blocking the machine out there, almost done with that. Just trying to get a head start.
So Fonzie, what engines are you working on in here? So I realize we're in the middle of you're in the middle of putting this one together, but I know there's a few behind you.
Yep, so we just did two Predator, so the new 2020 GT500 engines back to back. This one is a sleeved deal with billet main caps, got Carrillo rods in it and custom pistons. This one's more of the, I don't want to say middle of the road because that's not the word for it, but we call it a Pro Series, so it's a non-sleeve deal, but it still has nice rods, nice pistons. You know, we go through the whole block top to bottom, every passage gets touched, everything gets looked at, and then you know, these both are going to turn into complete engines, long blocks, you know, CNC heads, the whole deal, custom cams. It's just one step of many. Then now we actually have an EcoBoost getting ready to start on that one. That's a earlier gen 3.5 liter out of a truck. So we do a lot of these actually. Start with a brand new block, all brand new parts. The only way to really do it, and then we have our pistons, our rods, everything's going to get machined and deck braced and everything else. So
we do a decent bit of these other V6s here. This is Gen 2, right?
yes.
Gen 2. So we do also make a deck brace for this. We don't have one, I don't believe, on display right now, but just wanted to, that's a pretty popular engine for us. In addition to the Coyotes. What is this?
That is the aftermarket Coyote.
Okay, aftermarket Coyote. Cool. So before I forget, the person manning the camera is Lauren, so hopefully you can turn around and see who she is.
What's up, guys?
I want to do that first, but we got sidetracked. So we're going to walk back through the shop. Thanks, Fonzie. Appreciate it.
Someone just asked, are there engine platforms you won't build?
So, great question. I wouldn't say we wouldn't build, but we're specialized in Ford, GM, and Chrysler. We have done some stuff, some Mercedes, some other vehicles and different platforms, but even some Harley Davidson stuff. But really, we're more focused on Ford, GM, and Chrysler, late model. But honestly, I forgot about this one right here. This is a small block Chevy. It is a turbo boosted motor. Really, really nice piece, aluminum rod. Something like this is probably a 2,500 horsepower deal. But so yes, we do anything, but we specialize Ford, GM, and Chrysler. Hopefully that helps. So back here, this is our machine shop area. Most of the engine build stuff is on this side of the shop. Some of the CNC equipment is on that side of the shop. But I wanted to talk to Brad real quick on some of the engine machine honing, line honing, boring, sleeving. He's back here, so we'll bother him for a quick second. Brad, how you doing?
Good.
So, I don't know exactly what he's doing here, but I'll let him explain that.
We're machining right now for our one-piece deck bracing for our four-cylinder Ford block. We've got a billet aluminum deck brace that we designed for it. So we machine it to receive this in the top of the deck. And then when we're done, we machine off the excess material. So I've already put it in. I have the block machine for it. The roughing program will take another 30 to 40 minutes to finish cutting the top of the brace off. If you want, you can check out our program here. You can look at, this is our cutter pathing that we've got run for this process. So that way we can follow the cutter and see where it's going to be going to after it's machined. Also over here machining a block, and at the meantime, since this is just running, there's no reason to stand around.
So Brad's going to show us our Sun-In. It's an SV30. We're really proud of this machine. It's a complete CNC cylinder honing machine. Why is that important? Because if you want to do repetition and you want the bore finish to be exact, this thing will do it. So if you have almost like a little mini production, it just does a really, really good job of that. I'm going to let him explain it. He knows how to run this machine a lot better than I do.
Yes, we got our SV30. It's Sun-In's top-of-the-line machine for honing blocks. It's great for everything we do here. We do one-off jobs. We've got tons of tooling for it. We've got a lot of programs to be able to hone each block to its individual characteristics. So right now we're roughing in this block. It's been bored. It's already been bored 30 over. We've left it about 10 thousandths worth of hone stock left, which is perfect for this machine. It'll go right through it. So right now I've got it set already where it's gonna hone out about 6 thousandths worth of material. And the coolant keeps it cool enough. It's a water-based coolant instead of an oil, so it keeps it a lot cooler as we're running it. And as soon as it takes off Cartone, it changes speed for it. The cool thing about this machine is you can look at the screen and you can tell where it's taking out material and where there's extra that it needs to be taken out. So right now it's finding that it needs more material taken out of the bottom because it's tighter. So it's dwelling on the bottom and taking a certain amount of material out and extra strokes there.
Brad, explain what the plate is on top, the thick plate. Not a lot of people would be interested in that.
So we've installed well, there's our safety feature right there. So anytime there's a light curtain on this machine, anytime you break that light curtain, it automatically shuts it off. So all it will do is reset the machine, go back to it, and since we're set to a size and the machine already knows what size we're going to, we can just reinsert the head and hit the start button again. It'll automatically pick up how much it's already honed out of it, and then it'll go back to honing to the size we're actually asking for. Right now we're honing out a roughing amount of 6 thou. We'll let the block cool down enough to make sure it normalizes. We'll see where everything's at, and then we'll do a finish hone. There will be about 2.5 thousandths left for that, where we'll hone it a couple of times and various stages to get it down. But we install a torque plate on the top of the block to basically simulate a cylinder head, because that's how the engine's running. So it'll distort the head or the block just as the head is on there. That way, when we hone it, it's round, like as if the head was torqued on it, not just sitting in open air. Not all blocks have issues with this, but some do. So we just take it precaution that we just install a torque plate on anybody's block that we're doing one of our race machine jobs on.
Very cool.
So Brad, I also know behind you you've got a machine that does some board checking. I believe it's a profilometer. You want to explain that a little bit?
Yeah, this is our Metatoyo profilometer that we use. So each block that we do, we check the cylinders on it, and we check for our specific hone properties. And we check 2 bores, 1 on each bank, with for 3 positions: top, bottom, and middle of the bore. We want to know that the hone is doing its job correctly all the way through the cylinder, not just at one spot. We want to make sure it's all right. So we have certain parameters we try and hit. We have different stones and brush finish combos, or different stone finish to get what we need to do. We've figured out what works for us and the components that we're using, and we know what a general one needs to be for all different applications, whether it's drag racing, street driving, or just some of our high horsepower cars that we put out of here every day. But we always check the bores and we make sure, because this can change due to heat, the concentrating the coolant, stones breaking down, brushes wearing out. So we always check it, and then we can adjust our cycle times and adjust it according to that, and it'll come right in our parameters after 1 or 2 tries.
Cool. We're good, Brad?
Yep.
All right. So we have a couple other machines. That's a line hone machine. Obviously, you're going to hone a block, you got to use that. That's a balancing machine over there. Got a couple bridge ports. Kind of standard issue, I guess, if you're in the engine building business. So we talked a little bit about engines, and we've seen short blocks, but I wanted to show everybody our CNC equipment for cylinder heads. So we're going to go talk to Grant real quick. He's doing some, I believe this is Coyote Gt350, some race heads. So this is Grant. Grant, could you explain to us what you're doing right now?
Yeah, I can. So what we got going on right here is this is a Ford modular 5.2 Voodoo head. This is actually the latest and the greatest casting, the M52x. And what you're watching right now is a finishing port program that's being ran on one of our newest and most advanced machines, our Herco VMX 42 SWI. And pretty much what you're seeing is our porting tool is finishing around the port to not only enlarge the port's diameter, but to improve upon a bunch of different characteristics of the port, including surface quality finish and transitions to improve airflow characteristics for performance reasons. So a little bit of background about how we come to this point is first we'll start with a model head. And from the model head, we will put our custom designed hand port into it. And then I will take the head from that point, digitize it, which pretty much is just a 3D scanner that puts the port into the computer for me. And then I will have a point cloud from that point. And from from there, I will do what's called meshing, and I'll mesh it. I'll make sure that the transitions and the flow lines are all really smooth and nice and what we're looking for. And then I turn the mesh into a surface and make sure that the surface flow lines, transitions, and everything are nice and look proper. And then I'll send the surface over to a CAD. And from there is where I get it into Mastercam and write the tool pathing that you're seeing being ran on the machine today.
So Grant, I see we got pulleys over here. Can you explain what you're doing on these, and do you have anything on the lathe we could show?
Right now, I mean, these did just come from the lathe because they're round parts. Yep. So, you know, obviously we do all our turning in our CNC lathes. But these over here, they're Hellcat Supercharger pulleys. So we make our own in-house modular pulley system for the Hellcats and as well the GT500 Mustangs. But pretty much what I'm going to do here is, this is through the whole turning process. And at this point, I need to put in the bolt holes where it's going to mount to the hub and actually mount to the supercharger. So these are going to get mounted onto this chuck right here, which is going to be put into our 3-axis circle over here. And that's where I'm going to then cut the bolt holes for it to mount it onto the blower.
Someone asked, how long does one head take in the Herco?
One head in the Herco? Well, it depends on what type of head we're running. This M52x casting is actually a porter's head, so the ports come as cast from the manufacturer, a lot smaller. So for that reason, we have to run a roughing program and then our finishing program to make sure that we're not burying the tool and breaking things while we do it. So typically the roughing program takes around 3 hours, and then the finishing program is about 4 hours.
Pretty cool.
So we do have a couple other CNC machines here that do cylinder head porting. I'm going to walk with Grant and he can show us. We've got a Deco and we also have a Fidel that does cylinder heads as well. So we're going to go look at those real quick. And then we're going to go take a look at cylinder head after this.
Okay, so what we got going on in our Deco over here is we're running an L92 LS head.
I don't know if anyone heard, we're running an LN92. What?
It's an LS L92 head, so it's a rectangular port LS head. And then over here on our Fidel, we're running just a Ford modular head. It's one of our older programs because this is typically a pretty old machine, but it still gets the job done just as any of our other machines would.
Cool. Thanks, Grant. We appreciate it. This is an actual 2-valve modular cylinder head. An old head, but still somewhat regular basis will do these.
Yeah. Like I said, this Fidel machine, it's a little bit older, but this is what we do a lot of our older programs on. 2 valves, 3 valves, some Cathedral Port LS stuff, most of the older early 2000s, mid 2000s heads.
Cool.
We're going to go over and check out cylinder head. Let's go check them out. One quick second. We do make billet main caps. We do them for a couple engines. One is a Hemi Gen 3. We also do the Coyotes we make billet main caps for. Once you get into higher horsepower stuff, this is like a big requirement. I don't think too many people do this, so we're pretty excited about this. So this is our cylinder head room, a little bit of a cleaner room. These guys do a really good job. Dave right there, he's pretty much been with Livernois Motorsports since pretty much day one, doing cylinder head development and cylinder head testing. He's got some, we were looking at Grant running some Gt350 Voodoo, basically the same head. It's the rough non-CNC'd version from Ford Racing. So those have already been, these right here have already been CNC'd. I'll let Dave talk a little bit about these, but we're really happy about these things. It's a full race program, or full race head, for something like a Cobra Jet.
Yeah, well today we got, like you said, this is our new M52x Voodoo, which that's pretty much the latest and greatest Voodoo casting that's unported. So we're able to get our own port model and our own port program for these. So this particular set here, we're hoping to shoot for 1200 plus, somewhere between 1300 horse with this set. We're using Ferreira 1000 series stainless valves. We're using our proprietary custom wound valve spring for bigger boost and large camshaft applications.
Yeah, people not a lot of people may know, but we do make springs for Hemi, Coyote, and also LS. We got a really affordable LS spring package we're just looking to push out right now. So,
yep, yeah, a lot of our springs are all custom wound. So we're with this particular set, I'm just right now going through and checking all of our tip heights, dialing the tip heights so we can get our desired lash that we're after, and just taking some last minute measurements, make sure everything's okay before we get all the springs loaded. And this particular set here, this will be the next set that we're going through, and that set will be for a NHRA super stock application. So we're pretty excited about getting those done and getting some testing on those. Down here we got a set of 6.2 Hellcat track hawk. We're just doing some last preliminary checks before we do all the final machining and final washing. So just going over, making sure all our guide clearance is good. Setting tip heights, just making sure everything's okay so we can do the final decking and assembly procedures on these. So those are in process. Here we got a Coyote Intake that came in for some port work. So we're looking at some possibilities on what we can do to really get aggressive with this thing. Cool. Here we got a set of marine applications, set of big block Chevys that are here for some upgrades. So we do a little bit of everything in here.
Cool. I'm gonna walk back and see Bruce real quick on the new machine back here. Hey Bruce. Hi. So Bruce is running one of our valve seat machines. This is a new one. It's fully CNC. So I'll let him go ahead and do a little demonstration. So real quick, that head can be bought right on our website. That's a Stage 3 L92, full chamber, full valve job. Actually, we do replace seats on some heads, so I just wanted to roll by. I know this is one of the sponsors, so we actually do use their product. So anyway, we're gonna come out here. Let's take a look at, once we put everything together, what we can actually do. So we're gonna go to the engine dyno area. Sorry guys, just want to talk about this. So this is our engine dyno right here. We're excited about this because this is a brand new Superflow Powermark Dyno. This particular engine on here right now, it is a LS2 based engine. So it's a pretty I wouldn't say super high-end engine, but what we're trying to do with this engine and this package is we're going to have available by the end of the year, you'll be able to buy an LS engine with a fuel injection system on it, already tuned, that's ran on this dyno with a number, something you can drop in and put in a car, even possibly drive-by-wire if somebody wants it. So this is Dominic right here. He's running our dyno today.
Good afternoon, everybody.
So, and then helping him is Scotty Goss.
Hello.
So both of these gentlemen, if you know who they are, they both have race cars. They race semi-professionally. You know, they do pretty well. So.
Awesome. Should I go in there?
Okay, let's. Hold on a second. So that was a real quick pull they just did on this thing. It was only about 6,500 RPM, but this particular engine, the way it's equipped, I believe is about a 550 to 600 horsepower engine. I didn't actually see the pull. We can verify that later. But again, you'll be able to buy this engine ready to run. So just keep an eye on our website as the year progresses, livernoismotorsport.com. We're going to do our best to try to have complete crate engines that are ready to run. Not just the LS, but also the Coyote and also the Gt350. So that was engine dyno. We do have 3 chassis dynos here, so we're going to run 1 or 2 cars real quick. We kind of got them set up, so wanted to show you guys what a chassis dyno is. So Livernois Motorsports really is kind of a one-stop shop. So you could bring your engine here, we could build it, we could dyno it on the engine dyno and also on the chassis dyno. So Andy right here happens to be working on a Trackhawk. I'm going to let him tell the story on this one just because he knows it.
All right. As you said, I'm Andy. I'm the vehicle operations manager at Livernois Motorsports. Sort of do a lot of different stuff around the shop, but basically if it involves a car, I'm going to be involved with it and help make certain everything goes good. This customer, Billy William, you know, he really has been a loyal customer, brought us his Trackhawk multiple times in 2018, and like most of everybody that's really into performance stuff, he got bit, then he wanted more, then he wanted more, then he wanted more. So this actually has one of our stroker Hemi engines. It's got all bells and whistles, billet main caps, got, you know, all the Corilla rod upgrades, everything that we need for this to be able to handle pretty much whatever we want to throw out. Now this has one of the new Whipple 3 liters. It's got their stage 2, but we also went through and further ported the Supercharger, upgraded the fuel system, upgraded the transmission, the driveline, handle all of it. with his goal of making over 1,100 horsepower at the tire and using pump E85 on it. So we're going to go ahead and run this thing, and so you can hear it and check out everything and see us make a dyno pull.
So by nature, I raced Fords. I'm pretty much a Ford guy. But over the years, since the Hellcat stuff came out, the Chrysler Hemi, especially the Supercharger one, that is one of my, they've made me an instant Chrysler guy. So not only am I a Ford guy, I'm also a Chrysler guy. With this Trackhawk being one of my favorite vehicles, just its all-wheel drive, 700 plus horse stock. When we're done with this thing, it's way over 700 to the tire. So he's gonna go ahead and run it. So pretty impressive. These things from the factory, when we get these things and dyno them, they're like 570, 585 to the wheels. This thing's almost double. It's almost 1100, so 1099.74. It's pretty darn close. This is a relatively new build. We still got some work to do, and so I bet by the time this thing leaves the shop, it will be over 1100. So we're going to take a look at our install shop. The vehicle install shop. I'm gonna have Andy walk over with us as well. He can explain. Like I said, he's the vehicle install manager. So I'll hand this off to Andy in 1 second, but just wanted to maybe go over this red Camaro here real quick. This thing's got one of our short blocks, that actually long block in it. It's an LT4, so it's got all the new upgraded stuff we do to the new LT engines. This particular car is super impressive. It has a factory fuel injection and also a Big Stuff 3 on it, actually Big Stuff Gen 4. This car right here to the tires has made 1,340 horse, I believe, something like that. It also has an extra stage of nitrous. I'm sure it's going to be well over 1,400 to the tire. So 1,400 to the tire, probably something like 1,700 at the flywheel. This thing is super impressive. So anyway, I'll let Andy continue the shot.
So as Dan said, this is the vehicle install department. We've got 17 installation hoists. We have another chassis dyno even yet that I'll show you here in a little bit. But everything we do, over here is pretty much late model GM, Ford, and Chrysler. Modular, Coyote, Hemi, LS, LT, and of course, for Ford, we also do EcoBoost and some other applications as well. For the most part, everything's 2005-ish and newer. We'll see some older cars that still pop in here from time to time. But we do all that primarily for those late model customers. Everything you see in here, these are all customer owned. These are end users. So these are vehicles that have been sent to us from around the country and around the world to have various packages done, from a basic tune only all the way up to, like we saw on that ZL1 and the Trackhawk that we just showed you, full engine builds, driveline upgrades, and power adders added or improved on already. Again, a little bit of a broad mix. Chrysler right now is really, really hot, as you can see just from this, sort of overlay, but still do, a lot of LS and a lot of Coyote stuff as well, and modular too. So we'll show you a little bit more of the shop, see a little bit of that variety, and everything, to get a little bit better idea of all that. So, as I said, occasionally we'll have something a little bit on the older side, something that's a little non-traditional compared to our norm. We've got a Lincoln Mark 7 in here that we've actually gone through and done a small block Ford. We're going to talk about that a little bit, further in detail in just a minute. We'll show you a little bit more of the shop before we head on over there, but just wanted to sort of bring that to light, that we do still, do some of the older things as well. So, that's really the rest of the shop. We'll go ahead and head over, towards that way now. Let's see what Colin's doing over here.
All right, Colin, tell us what you're working on.
This is a beautiful 87 Mark 7. Not our usual car, but still something pretty sweet. It's getting a 363 dart-based engine, totally redone transmission, converter, cooling system, pretty much a whole new rebuild.
Cool. And this is a cool car because this is technically a Fox body. So our entire industry, and I know it can be argued by some, but what we do is really the Fox body is what started more of the late model performance. So this car sorta is part of that. I realize not everybody's gonna do a Lincoln. It's probably gonna be a Mustang or a Capri if it was. You remember those back in the day. So, but this is pretty cool. So we do some. Actually, the 302s lately, we've done more of these than we've done in years past. It's kind of like a new craze. People are redoing 302s in a Kona style. I'll let Andy finish.
Yeah, as we continue on, we'll go ahead over here to some of the other hoists and sort of show you our other chassis dyno and other things that we have going on. As you can see, again, we just have that broad mix, GM, Ford, Chrysler, primarily those in the mix for our vehicle department. Come over here, we have some, of our development vehicles. We do more than just work on people's cars. We develop products. As you saw in the CNC and the engine build area, we're all about making certain that what we offer is as good as it can be. And to us, part of that means that we own the vehicles that we work on. So we are not just, hey, we work on your Challenger. We own a Challenger. We develop a lot of the packages on it, and that turns into what we offer for a customer, to really go through and develop it. We have one of the first 10-speed automatic Mustangs ever built. We still own that today because there's still things that you go through and improve upon as the vehicle platform ages. Got a 2019 Red Eye, GT500, and again, further Chrysler applications, and we have, some GM ones in the mix as well that we do a lot of development with too. And all that's really important to us.
And both of these cars, they get our short blocks that you buy right off our website. So this is not like a special, like our Mustang, for example, it's our I don't want to say budget, but our lowest option Coyote, Gen 3 Coyote. So it's got just a piston, rod, upgrade. Like I said, it's one of our lower end pieces. That car right there makes over 1,100 to the tire. So we really put the abuse of that thing. We've taken it apart, took a look at it, and make sure everything's okay. But I did want to, we got anything else, Andy, from you?
That is all for me.
So we do have, this is another chassis dyno. Kind of a strange story about this dyno here, but I wanted to go over our tuning on this, right? So I know this is Engine Builder Magazine, but we just want to touch a little bit on tuning. So all these new cars, no matter what you do to them, you really got to get in there and tune them. So we actually make our own program. I'm going to show you that real quick, and then we're going to run this car. So this is our tuner. This thing is made completely in the United States. Matter of fact, most of the components are most of the stuff is assembled locally here to us. So it's a fully touchscreen tuner. It's available on our website. We ship this thing all over the country, really all over the world. So this Mustang here came in just for a cold air kit, some really basic stuff. And we use our tuner to do this. So we're gonna go ahead and run this car real quick, and then we're gonna wrap up this Engine Builder Magazine. just real quick, that thing made almost 400 horse to the tires. While it's not a ton, it is a stock engine just with a tune and a cold air kit. But you look at something like the Fox bodies back in, let's call it the early 90s, those would be lucky to make 200 horsepower to the tire. So see how far the Coyote engine has really gone, and Ford's really made an engine that's really almost the same size and almost double the horsepower. So we'll walk over here. So this should conclude our Engine Builder Magazine Instagram takeover. We appreciate it. I want to name our sponsors one more time, SBI and Engine Quest. We appreciate it, and thanks for the opportunity to let us do this.
How it ended.